Hey guys, so with this video I'm going to summarize a few of the key points of the zone diet. So the inventor, Dr. Barry Sears, was an American biochemist, and he worked, or is still working, I don't know, at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And basically, many of his family members had cardiovascular issues or had strokes and major health issues. And he was afraid for his own health and wanted to do something about it. So he started to do plenty of research that ended up in a book called The Zone. And I would like to explain what this zone is. Okay, so when we're talking about macronutrients, we're talking about a 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat diet. So this is the ratio that is not only acceptable overall in terms of calories and overall diet every day, but is the ratio that you should respect in every meal. In order to calculate your diet, he developed a system called the block system, the one you can see here. And you basically start from calculating your diet by starting from your protein needs. And after that, you will get a certain amount of blocks. So the average of blocks is 40 blocks per day for men and 11 blocks per day for women. And this is going to be distributed evenly in your calories, basically. So keep in mind that one block of protein is 7 grams, one block of carbs is 9 grams, and one block of fat is 1.5 grams. Basically, what is the aim or what is the goal that the zone diet follows? Dr. Barry Sears wants you to be in the zone, and to be in the zone, you have to follow the 40-30-30 path and the block path. What is that doing? Basically, in the body, this will create a hormonal balance, and it will basically create a deeper sense of well-being because of the hormonal balance. Another thing that you have to take a look at is that the meals are distributed over 5 meals a day. So the blocks and the calories are distributed over 5 meals a day. So not the typical 3 meals a day we have. Why is that happening? Because in order to keep this hormonal balance, you need to give a stimulus every 3 to 4 hours. So you can't go for more than 5 hours without eating anything. Why is he focusing on that? Well, if you look at this low glycemic index, we have insulin working in our bodies, and insulin is a hormone, and insulin can go up and down according to how we eat, how much we eat, and what we eat. If, for example, we eat a meal high in carbohydrates, or even worse, simple sugars, we will have a spike in insulin, and because the meal will have a high glycemic index and high glycemic load, that will cause inflammation in the body. And that inflammation will cause a release of inflammatory cytokines that you can see here in this chart here. Those are all the inflammatory cytokines that you can measure with blood work, basically. And if some of these are too high, it means that you have inflammation in your body. And the inflammation is, at least science says nowadays, inflammation is one of the bigger problems in our diets and in our bodies, because inflammation seems to cause all the major diseases that we are experiencing and seeing in our society. So high blood pressure, cardiovascular problems, so heart attacks, strokes, and even cancer seems to be caused by a certain degree of inflammatory cytokines in the body. And one way we can work against this is by, first of all, working with the zone diet, and second of all, using low glycemic index carbohydrates in our diet. Keep in mind that, for example, white pasta, white rice, sugary drinks, and so on, they have a high glycemic index. And this will cause inflammatory cytokines to go up, and this will cause inflammation in your body. Okay, the same applies to vegetable oils, like for example all these corn oils, or let me think, those seed oils that we use many times. Though this will cause inflammation in our body. So to come back, so low glycemic index, the zone with the blocks, and look at this. This is a product he has been selling for ages. Yeah, the omega-3 RX, which contains EPA and DHA fatty acids coming from fish. Yeah, so not from plants. They're coming from fish, and he uses, or sells the product because it is known, and this is scientifically proven, that fish oil decreases inflammation in your body. And it causes to have a better omega-3 omega-6 ratio in our body. So keep in mind, whenever we have too much omega-6, it means we're consuming the oils we have been talking about a few seconds ago. Omega-6 are inflammatory or pro-inflammatory, while omega-3s are or decrease inflammation. Other than that, what can I add? It is a low-calorie diet. So overall, I've done some calculations, and I have seen that, for example, for my body type, I would need to eat 1,400 calories, which in my opinion is not that much. Yeah, in my opinion, it's too low in calories from that point of view. But I have seen people in sports, especially CrossFit and bodybuilding, but also like soccer players, who were able to adapt the calories and the blocks for their personal needs. And yeah, this is overall the idea of the zone diet. I know some of you asked me about a personal opinion. Personally, I think it's a pretty good diet. Overall, it seems pretty balanced. Many scientists have criticized it for being like too high in protein, which I think is not that much of a problem. I think the baseline is 1.1 gram of protein per kilo of body weight, so it is not that far from the 0.8 grams that the Mediterranean diet is advising. Other than that, many people I know that followed or have been following the diet actually said that they have a profound sense of well-being, but I always try to be a little critical about it, because we have to see at how people were eating before that diet. Many studies, as we have seen in class, have been done on different diets, and every diet is trying to underline and sell products because it seems that it is the best diet for overall health and longevity. However, many of these diets are low in calories, first of all, and that already changes your blood work for the better. So as soon as you eat less than you did before, or you eat less than you consume, your blood work, your cholesterol, your LDL and HDL, they will get better. Your blood pressure improves, your sugar control improves. You become more insulin sensitive. So the way your body handles carbohydrates gets better. The same happens after an intensive training session too. Okay, so many of the different markers that you can measure in your blood work will get better. But this is not always the zone diet or the paleo diet or the vegan diet, but it is a more qualitative diet overall and many times less calories. Okay, still the zone diet, in my opinion, is a good diet because it chooses clean foods, it cuts out sugar, it cuts out plenty of omega-6, and in our society we consume a lot of omega-6. I think that the ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 consumption should be 1 to 4, while in our society many times it's 20 to 1 or even more, which is pretty bad. This will cause inflammation in our body, and it will cause our blood vessels to be inflamed and create all the cardiovascular problems in the future. Also plaque buildup in our arteries and stiffening of our arteries and so on and so on. So you should keep that in mind. So overall, it contains plenty of fruits and vegetables, and most carbohydrates are low glycemic index carbohydrates. So we're talking about barley, whole grain, beans, fruits and veggies, so like the good carbs. Okay, and the fats are usually the good fats. So usually I know he tries to avoid butter and the vegetable oils, and he consumes more of the omega-3 in fish, but also the omega-3 RX, olive oil, nuts, almonds, and so on and so on and so on. So I hope this was clear overall and that I gave you enough information. If you have some questions, please feel free to contact me.